been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And we did not fulfill our promise to watch Solo, as we said last episode.
I couldn't do it today. I don't have enough time.
I know, and I totally forgot about it until we were just talking about like when we were going to record the podcast. I'm like, oh crap, can we watch Solo? And we're like, nope. So we were not able to do it, but we will for sure before next episode, right? We will make it our homework and write down our thoughts on it. I've been watching. There's a lot of stuff I've been watching. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wrapped up yesterday. That was the
I
final.
saw you tweeting.
Yeah, it was confusing. It was fine, but it was the way they beat the bad guys is confusing.
A magic light beam, I understand.
That's exactly what it was. I'm like, oh, okay, didn't know they could do that. And it was almost exactly like a Deus Ex Machina kind of a thing. Anyway, so there's that. And I also started watching The Witcher, which I believe you've already watched, right?
Yes, I've watched it, yes.
So, it was interesting. I know I normally would save this for media nerds, but I wanted to say, I remember you telling me about The Witcher that the first 3 episodes are pretty slow and it doesn't really get going until like the 3rd or 4th episode, right?
That's when I started really enjoying it.
Okay, well, I got to say, I enjoyed it right off the bat. That first scene is incredible. Like, he's just fighting this big monster in the middle of a swamp.
That's a good scene, but then there's some cheesy elements that quickly go away.
Yeah, but I also like he's a great, like the fight scene with the thugs outside the bar or whatever. There's all kinds of little things in there, and it's a really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm on episode 5 now, and I'm liking this. I certainly like this. Like him better. It's Henry Cavill or Henry Cavill, depending on how you pronounce it. And he's much better in this than he is in Superman for sure. Like he's actually really good.
Yeah, so. He has a bit of a sense of humor, and he has a personality in this one, as opposed to Superman.
He doesn't.
Where I don't know why. Why wouldn't you have a personality as Superman?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So he shows that he actually can emote, so that's something. By the way, have you ever played the video game, The Witcher?
I have the 3rd one downloaded. It's on the Game Pass. I started playing it, but it was just a little too much to get into, and I felt like there was a lot of story that I missed, the 3rd Witcher. So I don't know if I have to start at the beginning or not for those games, but it did look okay.
I only played the one that everybody loves, which I think is the last one.
That's the 3rd one, right?
I don't know. I didn't know there were 2 other. I thought that was the only one. It says
Witcher 3. It says that's the name of the game is Witcher 3.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
But it's awesome. And actually the story stuff, okay, you know when you start a video game, you're like, I'm paying attention to every word of the story. And then by the end, you're like, cutscene, and you skip it.
Yeah.
You just skip everything.
Yeah.
Because you just don't care. You don't
right.
care about the story. You just want to beat the boss or whatever. So Witcher, the fun thing about Witcher is, once again, you know how I love the open world stuff, and the fun thing about The Witcher is that it's open world, and really there's a super cool thing toward the end that's just awesome, where you're fighting bad guys and stuff, but really the joy of it isn't necessarily following the story like beat to beat. I don't think that's the most important thing. I don't think it even matters to a certain extent. You know, like, it's not like one of those where you have to choose the discussion, and if you choose wrong,
right,
the whole game
it's
gets...
not like a Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing where you have
No.
It's interesting. Now I will try. Now that I'm watching the series, I will try it, and maybe I'll even try reading the books at some point. But I am enjoying it. And now it's funny because now and I guess I've been typing stuff into my I got some like search engine or whatever about it, and now I'm getting all these ads about The Witcher on my sidebar.
Oh yeah!
Yay! Love that they invade my privacy to advertise to me. Anyway,
if you really want to see that in action, type the words "Red Lobster" into your browser during Endless Shrimp, and then watch Instagram go crazy.
Oh man, that's funny.
I'm not having my last year. I'm not getting them to do the Red Lobster ad this year.
Well, you can't really, can you?
Yeah. That's a whole other struggle. That's a struggle that I'd like to talk through with you on Media Nerds. As a matter of fact, we'll table that discussion. But if you do that, if you type it in, people curse me to this day that they see all those Red Lobster ads in their Instagram. And it's funny, last year was the year that they really went all in on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was really cool.
So you'll see. You get to see if The Witcher suddenly shows up. That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about Star Wars. We have a lot to get to. First, I want to mention, this is just as I was kind of searching up Star Wars news, I came across this little blurb of a story. you know the line, "I hate sand." It's everybody's favorite
course.
line from the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
or from Attack of the Clones rather. And actually, it's funny because recently in a Star Wars comic book, they actually kind of poked fun at it. This is from Marvel Comics. This series is currently exploring Luke's adventures between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and so he's like, I guess there's a. And it's also, I think, it looks to be explaining a little bit of what happened to his lightsaber, because he gets a vision of a mysterious woman catching the lightsaber he lost in his duel against Darth Vader. And then during this whole series, he actually decides to build his own lightsaber again. This is when he builds his green one. Anyway, there's a part where he falls into the ocean and he is like drowning, and then he gets rescued by R2-D2, of course, because R2-D2 is the hero always. And then the line he says, as soon as he gets it back to shore on the beach, he says, "Whoa, good old sand. I ever tell you how much I love sand?"
Does he really?
He says that in the comic book, yeah, to R2, which is
As a
pretty
joke?
funny.
Is he himself joking when he says it?
Well, he's not aware of what Anakin said, so no. I mean, it's a joke from the writers, right? It's like a...
Sorry, who says it?
Luke says it.
Oh, Luke says it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking. I was thinking Anakin in
No,
my
no,
head
no.
when you said that. Oh, okay. So, yeah, he's unaware. He loves sand, unlike his
Unless like his father, who hated sand.
Yeah,
so there
it's
you go.
irritating. It gets into things, but water does too.
That's true. Very true. And I think it has to do with how they were brought up. Luke had a relatively happy childhood, I would imagine, on Tatooine, even though it was kind of boring.
didn't.
Well, I mean, he was bored. That was his big issue, right? He was always bored, not being able to do anything. Whereas, Anakin was a slave and had to kind of, well, what did he do? He made pod races. What did he do as a slave? We never really got that. He worked for Watto.
He worked in the metal shop.
He was, I guess, a mechanic for Watto. But anyway, but he associates that with bad memories, whereas Luke associates it with good memories, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I just thought it was a little funny aside thing to start us off with a little joke about that. And I like that they're
Although it actually doesn't make sense now that you reminded us. About
No,
where
I know.
Luke comes. Yeah, it's kind of
But
an odd.
it's kind of a sign that, now that Disney owns Star Wars, it's willing to kind of poke fun at itself, which is something it really never did before. And that kind of ties into our next topic, which is about the Star Wars Holiday Special. So the news here is that the Star Wars, now, of course, they're doing this through the Lego brand, which is the only way you could really make fun of Star Wars officially is through Lego. It's not, there's no other parodies. They wouldn't let the Seth Green series go forward, the what was it, Detours or whatever that was called. They actually made a bunch of those episodes, and they never see the light of day because it's too goofy for Star Wars. But Lego can be goofy, and so they are creating a Lego holiday special coming out next month, or coming out in November, I guess it is, right around the time when the actual first holiday special came out for Star Wars back in 1978.
Yeah, at first I was hoping that it was a remake. I was a Lego remake of the original holiday special. Now, I'd be surprised if there isn't at least some jokes about that.
Oh, they have to do that. They have to poke fun at it for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It's going to be on Disney Plus. The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special brings beloved heroes like Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron back together to celebrate Life Day. So, yeah, there you go, right there. The Star Warsy holiday introduced way back in the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special that aired on, it was November 17th, 1978. So it's exactly the date that the first one aired. And then it will pays homage to Special's disco-era predecessor, which became a so bad it's good cult favorite that fans have found in I guess I saw it on YouTube, but I mean, people have seen it all kinds of ways. So, yeah. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
here.
Sorry, you're quiet. I was on Do Loser Connection.
No, I was listening for the first time ever. I understand your confusion at me listening.
Sorry, because I have to click away and I can't look at the screen. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm looking and listening with rapt attention.
So, what do you think about this? Is this going to be a good idea? Is it going to be fun? Do you think it's going to resonate with the kids? They're going to get it?
No.
No,
because you have kids, so you know kids these days are dumb.
Oh yeah.
So I don't.
Kenton just called you dumb, guys.
No, I said kids, not your kids. I said you have kids, and kids are dumb.
Yeah.
If you want to put two and two together, this is what I think. I think just like all kids entertainment these days, there's like the element for the folks, and then there's the element for the kids. So it's probably gonna be, it's the adults that talk about Star Wars, like nonstop, and the kids who have who are inundated with entertainment. So they they'll watch it probably, but I don't know that if they'll understand the jokes. Like, I'd like nothing more than to have B. Arthur animated singing the One More Drink Friends.
Or what's his name? Harvey Korman or
Harvey Korman.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, just have some of those, the kitchen scene, any of those little scenes. Like, I think they're going to do stuff like that for sure. What's interesting to me is that, like, for years and years, George Lucas swore that he would never let this thing see the light of day, right? They never released it. They never, he was embarrassed about it. He said, this is not what I wanted to do. He was not able to kind of oversee the production of it. And so when it aired, he was just like, whoa, that's not good. So then he obviously swore off doing anything like that again, and then tried to bury it. It didn't stay buried. It got out. Bootleg tapes got out. Everyone's kind of seen it. And now Disney's kind of embracing it. I wouldn't be surprised if they released like a remastered version of it at some point, so for people to watch, just for fun. Like, I think that would be a lot of fun just to put that on Disney Plus, right?
I'd be surprised, although I think on a previous episode, I pointed out something that I'd never noticed before, which is in that collector's box I have, the Star Wars Vault, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. That's the only piece of licensed anything that I've ever seen for the holiday special. And it's a flap, and I never noticed it. I lifted it up, and there's 2 CDs, and one of the CDs has Carrie Fisher singing the Life Day song from the end of the thing. So I actually have a recorded version, a stereo recorded version of Carrie Fisher's Life Day song. And wouldn't it be great if that Life Day song, it has to be. We're in this
yeah,
special.
they have to do that. They're gonna have they'll have someone else doing it. They'll have Ray doing it or somebody else singing it. But
no, it'll be. I think it's got to be the voice of Carrie Fisher.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't
so
it need to be?
Yeah. Well,
it's like a tribute.
So first of all, is it canon? No, it's not canon. It's Lego. Lego is not canon. But the Lego stuff that have been released, all the different they have. There's the Yoda Chronicles. There's this. What was the other series? They had another series on recently that was about the brother and sister team or something like that, and they were doing adventures. Anyway, they are based in the reality of Star Wars somewhat, and usually they are taking place at some point in the timeline. So the question is, when does this take place? Does this take place after the Rise of Skywalker? Is this after everything's done and they're that means Carrie Fisher would be dead, or Princess Leia would be dead. So is this is this happening after that, or
did I not see Han Solo in the picture when they announced it? I thought there was was there any preview of any kind?
There's a picture here and it shows Finn, Rey, Poe, Rose, and Chewbacca. So just all the new people. It does not have any of the other ones. Oh, here is in villains throughout Star Wars history. Oh, this looks like it's this is older stuff. This is Mace Windu in this image, and there's Obi-Wan. This is like prequel era, this image, and there's Anakin, like before he turned, and then we have Darth Maul and the not clone troopers, but fire troopers. Oh yeah, so they're mixing it all up here. It's gonna be all over the place.
Pokemon Tournament DX.
Right, Luke's playing Pokemon. It says the Redemption Tour started with a Life Day reference in last year in Disney Plus's live action The Mandalorian. Was there a reference to? Oh yeah, there was a reference to Life Day in the Mandalorian, right? In the first episode.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did.
What was the joke? It was Horatio Sands as the green guy.
Yes.
Something about going home for Life Day. So we know that they've officially made Life Day canon, I guess is what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And while this Lego special is not canon, they will, it just shows they're more willing to embrace this kind of stuff, even though George Lucas, I think that they just recognize that there's money to be made in every aspect of Star Wars, even the stuff that George Lucas didn't like. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it, and maybe this is the beginning of an official release of the special that dare not speak its name.
This holiday is yours, but we all share with you the hope that this day brings us closer to freedom and to harmony and to peace. No matter how different we appear, we're all the same in our struggle against the powers of evil and darkness. I hope that this day will always be a day of joy in which we can reconfirm our dedication and our courage, and more than anything else, our love for one another. This is the promise of the Tree of Life. We celebrate
you've been out in the wild, COVID-filled world searching for Star Wars toys, and I've noticed on the Instagram, on your Star Wars Winnipeg Instagram, you managed to come across some Baby Yoda toys.
Yeah, well, last week I bought the Baby Yoda Star Wars Black.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it.
How much was it?
It's $13. It was actually not bad at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean,
too.
it is smaller than most of those figures, so there's less plastic involved. I don't know if that's a factor or not.
I figured they would ask at least 20. I thought for sure, especially for such a popular character. But
it seems like it should be a package deal with Mando. Like, I feel like you should get Mando and the child together, kind of thing.
Putting two popular characters together?
Well, they would charge more for it.
It's not like I'm trying to think. Rey came with BB-8 in the original Force Awakens packaging.
No, but they do sell Rey with Dio.
Yeah.
There is a combo with Rey and Dio. I'm like, nobody cares about Dio.
No.
That's a dumb droid that nobody likes.
That's why you have to throw them together. Or like at one point they put two Jawas in one package, and it's kind of like, yeah, you don't want to be buying two individual Jawas. You just want just give me two. They're about like half the size.
You might want more if you want to recreate the scene with the sandcrawler. You might want to have more Jawas, right?
Yeah.
So there is that. But anyway, so you got the black, and then what else did you see?
Okay, so then they had there's all kinds of. They've got like a gravy boat, a Baby Yoda gravy boat.
What does that mean? Like an actual gravy
like
you put in?
Well, you pour gravy out of it, but it is
for those Thanksgiving, so the Star Wars themed Thanksgiving dinners.
And I'm not quite.
Boy, I can't wait to break that thing out.
Is it like maybe his face? It's like him eating the bone broth or something.
They should be selling a cup with bone. Like, that's what we should be doing. Like, let's do something that goes in line with the show. Sipping bone broth out of a little cup. That's not a great. Who pours gravy in the Mandalorian? That's just dumb.
Nobody does, but they have his face on the gravy boat, so that was the only sort of weird. But then they had the life-size Funko Pop Baby Yoda, which I believe is life-size, and that was the first time I've ever seen it. And then they had the regular-size Funko Pop Baby Yoda with him consuming the frog. The frog is halfway into his mouth.
Okay.
So they got that as well. And then they've got like a whole range of sort of side items like I think there's keychains. There might have been stickers. I noticed that on all of the tags, they all say, "The child is here. The child is here." Like they've got a sticker for the window. They got a sticker for each aisle that has the Star Wars stuff on it. And when I was sort of looking at all this stuff, they also had a couple new Star Wars Black 6-inch figures. They had Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, and they had not Forlom, the other one, Zuckuss. So they had so they had a couple of Star Wars 6-inch black figures I'd never seen in person before. And as I was looking at all of them, a guy in his 20s came in. And he a dumb kid came in, and no, just kidding. And he's like, "Do you guys get anything new?" And the guy working there was like, "Baby Yoda, Funko Pop, actual size. How's that for new?" And the guy went like, "Oh, I already got it." So I just think it just speaks to, I think the market is now officially flooded with the merch. We all wanted it at first. It's there. If anybody wants it, I think they can pick it up pretty easily.
Yeah, and I don't want to, like, it's important not to confuse this with the Baby Yoda I saw at Walmart, which is not a Funko Pop. It is just Baby Yoda, and it is a life-size kind of recreation of Baby Yoda. Like, I mean, it's like, I don't know how tall he is, like 2 feet, 2 feet tall, maybe. Is that right? 12 inches, or 24 inches. Anyway, yeah, but you know, we didn't get any of that when the Baby Yoda fever was like at its highest last year. When the show came out, they had nothing, right? Because they didn't reveal the secret of Baby Yoda. But now that everybody knows, I think it's too much. Like, it's a little bit too late in the thing. Like, we're good. We don't need any more Baby Yoda merch.
It's landing at a weird time.
Yeah, exactly.
Between the two seasons.
Like, honestly, they should wait until, I think it's just they were late getting it out, so they finally got it out, and maybe these days with the coronavirus and all this stuff, shipping is all messed up anyway, so they want to get it out while they can. But certainly it would be better to time this with the release of season 2 coming out in October, right?
Yeah.
That's when we would want to get Baby Yoda stuff back out there. And maybe there's a different, like, I mean, I know they're probably planning for next season, like, different costumes. Baby Yoda puts on a different robe or something, and let's get a different outfit kind of thing. Like, they're going to, like, totally capitalize on that.
Yeah.
While we're on this topic, I just want to mention there's one, there's a someone I follow on TikTok. I'm blanking on her name. But she's an older lady, not older, like she's closer to our age, I guess. She's in her 30s or 40s. And she does, as I mentioned, I think in the previous episode, she does cosplay of pretty much all the female characters of Star Wars. So she'll do Jyn and she'll do Rey and Leia and all that stuff. But she also has she's a member of the 501st. So she has a bunch of Stormtrooper outfits, including a Scout Trooper. And she kind of recreates scenes with, you know, in the series where there's that Scout Trooper, is it Stormtroopers or Scout Troopers that have Baby Yoda and they punch him?
I think they're Scout Troopers.
Yeah, Scout Troopers. So she's got she dresses up in that outfit, and she does these little sketches with Baby Yoda. Like they've become friends now. That's the goal. That's the gag. And so like the Baby Yoda goes.
So she doesn't punch him.
She doesn't punch him.
Good.
No, she just sits. They're sitting there watching like a parade of Imperial troops go by, and she's explaining what's happening. And the Baby Yoda goes like doesn't make any noise. Of course, doesn't say anything, but makes little noises. It's very very funny. I think it's Jen Markham. Her name is Jen Markham on TikTok. Very, very funny stuff. So that she uses that life-size Baby Yoda as her prop for that, right? While we're on the subject of TikTok, there's a meme going around on TikTok that is hilarious. And it actually has to do with I want to say it's episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when Obi-Wan gets into the fight with Grievous. And there's a scene where he goes, "Hello there." Right? You familiar?
Yep.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
And he says, "General Kenobi," and psst, and all his lightsabers come out, his 6 lightsabers. That whole scene has become quite the meme on TikTok. And so people are recreating it. They're doing the lip sync thing. They're recreating it. And then the gag is that whatever Grievous is, like I've seen him do it with like a cat with little fake lightsabers coming out. I've seen him do it with all these different things that represent the lightsabers. So that's the joke of it. But then I came across an article that said that scene, that line, "Hello there," and then General Kenobi, is equivalent to the "Luke, I am your father" scene in the original trilogy. Like that is the line that is most memorable for people out of the prequel trilogy. What do you say about that?
I think that's going a little far.
Yeah. Is there a more memorable line from the prequels that you can remember?
From the prequels? Yeah. How about "Yusa thinking Yusa people gonna die"?
True. You're not wrong. That's any Jar Jar line, "Squeeze me," like anything like that is pretty memorable, I guess. Say what you will about Jar Jar, he's a memorable character. I don't think that line has the importance that the "I am your father" line has from the original trilogy. Like that was such a mind-blowing moment, and it was just out of left field. So there's nothing. I don't think there's anything equivalent to that in any of the other Star Wars movies, really.
I got to think about that for the prequels. If there is a line that's an important line, it's not sand. It's not
Nope.
It's not Jar Jar.
Although that's the one that people make fun of the most. Then the other reveal is, of course, in The Force Awakens when they reveal that Kylo Ren's father is Han Solo. That's not even the same. Like that was like so quickly that was like in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and it was not revealed in the same way as as Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father, right? So I just thought it was it's a funny meme. I mean, if you get a chance to like, search up Star Wars on TikTok and see some of these people doing this, it's really, really funny. And it shows how much people still love those prequel movies. Like that whole generation younger than us that grew up as children with the prequels still love it very much, and they have a huge amount of nostalgia for those movies. What else do I have here? Oh, okay. There is now. Have you ever purchased a hot toy?
What's a hot toy again?
Hot toy is from a Sideshow.
The statue.
Right? They're super detailed and with cloth outfits and very, very expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah, sorry. When you first said it, I was thinking Hot Wheels.
No, yeah, Hot Toys.
Duh. Yeah. I've never bought one, but I've often wanted to.
All right. Well, you might want to get this one. I don't know. This might be up your alley if you have $250 to spare.
Why not? I don't have any kids.
But here's what it is. It is the Luke Skywalker in the Snowspeeder pilot outfit. And so this is it's a 1/6 scale, which means it's about 12 inches high. So it's kind of a larger figure. It is fully posable. It has, this is one of those ones that has interchangeable hands to hold different things, right? Instead of having articulation on the fingers. They actually just make a hand that holds his gun. They make a hand that holds his lightsaber. But he comes with, get this, he comes with a I'll send you this like all these different poses. They can pretty much recreate any scene in Empire Strikes Back. This is part of the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back series, and it comes with a see here. It features a head sculpt with newly sculpted hair, finely tailored snowspeeder outfit and life support unit on chest, an LED light up lightsaber, an interchangeable lightsaber blade emulating the weapon in motion. So when he like swipes the lightsaber to like cut open the bottom of the AT-AT, right, to throw the bomb in there. You can do that. You can pretend you're doing that. Although I don't know if they made an AT-AT to scale to these toys. Like that would be a pretty big AT-AT if they did that.
Yeah.
But certainly he also comes with this little grappling hook gun that he shoots to stick up there, to go up there. And then a highly detailed flight helmet, grappling gun, blaster, thermal detonator, a snow-themed diorama set up with a figure stand, all in the specially designed retro-style packaging. It looks like a lot of fun. I really, like, if I was in the market for this kind of stuff, I would absolutely buy this. It looks so cool.
There's so many cool. I just never, when I was a kid, my goal was to collect everything, and it's impossible now. Can't do it.
You had no idea when you were a kid what this would become. At the time, how much was a Star Wars figure back in the day? Like $5?
Something like that. Maybe it was 10. No, you know what? I think it was $7.99. I think it was, because I remember it was enough for a kid that like 1 week's allowance wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, you need to kind of save up a little bit to get it, right?
Yeah.
And for me, when I was a kid, it was more like I used to spend my money more on G.I. Joes and Transformers than on Star Wars figures, but it was the same price range, right?
Exactly.
You had a couple weeks of allowance, you could go buy yourself a new toy. But you had no idea that they would be selling like some of these things for $250. Right? Like that's kind of crazy that we've come that far.
It was unimaginable. I mean, it was hard to find those figures on the first round. Like Snaggletooth and the Jawa were pretty tough the first go round. And then, it seemed like each wave would have a figure that would just make kids lose their minds to try to get their hands on. Oh yeah. Like it's always been that way, but it was never like a kid couldn't eventually afford it. Like that was something totally different. Like if I would have seen one of those statues when I was a kid, it would have been like I would have had to like ask for an advance on my allowance for a year and probably had to mow the lawn every day. Water it so it would grow so I could mow it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I don't think it would have been an option. And I don't think there was an adult Star Wars fan base when the movie.
No, that's the thing. Like we've grown up, right? The people who were kids when it came out have now grown up, and they have all this disposable income to spend on $250. And there's also, by the way, in this 40th anniversary series, there's a Darth Vader and a Boba Fett. So, of those three, what would you want? If you could only choose one of those three, what would you want?
Probably the Boba Fett, just for the possibilities, but I haven't seen it.
Right.
But as a character, the possibilities of what you could show him doing and the equipment and all of that stuff could be very cool. So on paper, I'd go Boba.
I think a lot of people would, right? Because again, that became, and it just blows my mind that such a character that was such a small part of that movie became so popular. Smarter part of both movies he was in, to be fair. And I know that, in the special edition, he is in the first one, but let's not talk about that scene. It's pretty bad.
You just reminded me, like, the whole idea of there even being an adult collecting Star Wars figures back in the day would have been laughable, I think, to people. It would have been like, you need to grow up and get yourself a job. Like, if you had a job, you might lose your job if you continue collecting this.
But when you think about it, people have hobbies, right? People have always had hobbies. Yeah. And when I was a kid, my dad was into model railroads. That was his hobby.
Sure.
And he bought it, ostensibly he bought it for us, but he loved it way more than we did. And he had this big table with all this whole scenery and everything. He would buy little trees and make little landscapes. Like, that was his hobby. And I'm sure he sunk just as much money into that as you did into your Star Wars collection, right? People have hobbies, they collect things.
Well, even Close Encounters of the Third Kind shows Richard Dreyfuss with the train model and all of that. And it was like a way of showing in movies in the 70s like basically to illustrate a man baby, was to show the man wearing his, and he'd wear his railroad engineer cap.
Yeah,
of course. And,
like the Reverend in The Simpsons has that too.
Right,
actually.
Exactly. That was a trope. And so
That's true.
that now, if you're to do that, actually, I think the 40-year-old virgin, he's a
yes.
collectible. He's got collectibles.
That's right, and he sells them all for a ton of money. That's right.
That's right. So
And I think that's meant to symbolize him growing up, like he's in a relationship and he wants to grow up, and that. But I don't think it necessarily means that you're a man child if you own these things.
No,
it just means
but
you love your childhood, you love your nostalgia,
yeah,
right?
it's film shorthand for man baby. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. And actually, and I also think what's his name? The Man Cave. What's the name of the movie? The guy, Ant-Man. Who plays Ant-Man?
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd is in a movie. He's obsessed with Rush, and he's got a man cave.
Oh, I Love You, Man.
I Love You, Man. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I think that's the point of that. I think the man cave, once again, is an illustration. And a love of Rush. I think, once again, that's shorthand for something.
I remember my favorite part of that movie is when they make a reference. There's two things. Number one, when they talk about the bus bench ads, because he was a real estate agent.
Yes.
The guy's like, "What's your bus bench coverage?" It's like, and I still don't know the answer to why real estate agents advertise so much on bus benches.
Cheap
I know
media.
it's cheap, but come on.
Cheap media that you can
Does
focus
it
on a
work?
neighborhood.
Does it work?
It doesn't work. Well, yeah.
That's
Well,
my
people
question.
recognize you and they make fun of you when they see you walk into a
My
restaurant.
landlord, where I live right now, is a real estate agent, and his face is on a bunch of bus benches around.
Yeah.
I bug him about it when I see him. Anyway, the other thing in that movie is when they talk about the amazing Sunday lineup of HBO, and they're going to watch
Yes.
True Blood or something like that at the time. And it was hilarious. So there's that as well.
Sunday
it's
is
a good movie.
premium cable night, I believe.
That's
is
right.
What he says. Yeah.
Nothing can interrupt Sunday night HBO.
No, you need permission to leave the house on premium cable night. I love premium cable night, by the way.
Yes, it's really good.
Oh, it's very
anyway,
good.
yeah, but I think you're right. So these days, that is a trope. I don't know if that's still around or not, but certainly it's not a reality. It's not something that really. It's the same as the quote unquote nerd trope that Revenge of the Nerds popularized, right? Like the pocket protector glasses, that kind of thing. That was also something that was around. That really isn't necessarily true.
And here's something also. The first year as a teacher, I've been teaching. I must be my 17th year now, if you can believe it. But
You're almost your career as a teacher is almost old enough to drink.
Very good. I was actually, I heard today it's the Malcolm Gladwell thing that you have to do something 10,000 hours before you're very good at it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I must be way past that. And it's actually pretty hard. Like, if you actually look at your teaching, do the math and you'll see, oh boy, 10,000 hours in a classroom, it's a hell of a long time. So
I'm at 9 years now.
oh yeah, do the math. You'll see. Years. Years
okay.
times weeks times hours in a classroom, I guess.
Yeah, I'll do it later. I'm not going to do it right now.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Well, anyway, you're going to be surprised at how low it is. Don't tell the chair I said this. But
Okay.
don't tell the chair. But I remember, so 17 years ago, I think it was, I remember at that point, eBay was huge online.
Oh, yeah.
And the students found my account and saw that I was buying and selling Star Wars figures. And they wanted to know more about it. And I still remember I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I need to talk about this in this venue. But I remember they were interested, but like a scientist was interested in dissecting a frog, kind of thing. Where I think now it's nothing interesting to the class at all.
It's not unusual.
no,
and
it's
it's so
not.
collectible
Yeah.
culture is so huge. Pop culture is so huge
Yeah.
that it's not. And one thing I often wonder about, and something we can maybe explore later in another episode, is did this exist before this generation? Like, did our fathers love pop culture as much as we did, as far as like quoting movies, quoting TV shows? Because it's not just like everybody knows certain Seinfeld quotes or certain, Star Wars quotes or whatever. But I don't know if that exacted. What did the people quote, like Gone with the Wind at each other back in the day? Like, is that kind of frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, like that kind of stuff?
It had to have happened in the movie Diner, Barry Levinson's great movie.
Ah, yes.
Diner.
Yep.
There's a guy in the movie who's memorized the film The Sweet Smell of Success. He's not a main character, but he shows up a couple times during the film, and he just like drops, like all he does is speak in those lines. So they're playing pool, and he shows up, and he's like, "You're blind, Mr. Magoo." He just goes right into the
And
thing.
when does that take place? That movie?
And that takes place in the 50s.
Okay.
And they said, Steve Gutenberg says, the kids today, man. Wow. They're pushing things way further than what
Yeah.
we did. And so that was probably the beginning of that kind of culture. Film, probably. Or maybe radio. Actually, radio, I'll bet.
Well, I was thinking about George Lucas when he was a kid. Like he was into Flash Gordon in those movies, right? Which is partly what inspired Star Wars. But he was also into cars, and he liked like racing cars and that kind of stuff as well. So
And Wolfman Jack.
And Wolfman, yeah, and radio, exactly.
Yeah,
radio,
the radio, the idea of a local celebrity DJ, you know, or a syndicated DJ. In the case of Wolfman
I think
Jack.
in American Graffiti, he's local, isn't he? I don't remember.
I think they make him because Richard Dreyfuss drives to the station.
That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta watch that movie again. It's so good.
That's a great movie. It really is. George Lucas didn't just hit it out of the park with Star Wars. He's got another couple.
Yeah.
You know, he's got another couple in there that he could have made. He could have done for American Graffiti what he did for Star Wars. Prequels. Yeah.
They did do a sequel to American Graffiti, did they?
Yeah,
it was more American
it's
Graffiti?
not bad actually. It's not bad.
Okay, I don't think I ever saw it.
Harrison Ford's in it.
Speaking of 70s movies, it is Shark Week, and I'm going to watch Jaws this week. I don't know if you're aware that it was Shark Week, but it is usually the week that I watch Jaws. I'll be watching Jaws probably on the weekend, and maybe we'll talk about it next week on Media Nerds.
It's the best.
It is awesome. I love it so much.
Trump is for COVID what the mayor in Jaws is for sharks. Come on. Go swim.
Go in the water.
Yeah.
Go. Go. It's okay.
Go swim, kid.
Nobody's swimming. I love that part. He's like, the guy looks so hesitant to get into the water. He's like, okay.
Yeah, the first guy.
They take the kid and they go into the water and okay. All right. Anyway. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. That's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the force hit you on the ass.
That's no moon.
Now I am the master.
TK421, you copy?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power conversion.